What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Hello, what's up?
Hello, how are you?
I am good. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Yeah.
Ready to chat some metal,
Yeah. Absolutely, man. So, for everyone, I'm Fran, of course, Savage Ladies. With me, and my bottom right corner, I don't know what she looks like to everyone else, is Miss Crystal from Texas Metal Militia.
Hello, guys.
And then Chuck and John of Incantation. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
So you guys have been tearing up 24, and you're about to rip and shred 25. You know?
Yeah, I mean, the last couple of years have been crazy. It was like since the pandemic thing, so much, I don't know, pent up metal, I guess, we just kind of toured like crazy. I mean, we basically had to like make up some of the Sect of All Divinities tour because that came out during the pandemic, and then right into the Unholy Deification touring. So it's been quite crazy. I mean, it's great to be able to tour and tour so much, but it also is a lot of work and a lot of time away from home, which is it's fun to tour, but it's also nice to be at home too. So it's like, and when we're home, we don't even really get a lot of time to like work on, say, like jamming with the band and working on stuff because we're out on the road touring so much. We don't live close to each other. So it adds an extra layer of insanity, I guess, to the mix. But it's the life we choose. So, I take the good with the bad. And trust me, playing metal is like way more good than bad. Even the bad stuff could be way worse if I wasn't playing metal,
Yeah. You can't picture life without it at this point,
Yeah. A normal lifestyle for me right now would just be abhorrent.
Right. I mean, you guys just celebrated your 30-year anniversary.
Yeah. Well, I guess, I mean, officially our 30th year anniversary was in 2019.
Was it 19? Oh, shit, I thought it was more than that.
Yeah, well, 2019 was our.
I was thinking too originally. I was like, maybe it was. I was thinking earlier. I'm like, dude, I swear it was like 40, but I kept seeing 30 everywhere. I'm like,
time works differently.
it's like we're going on 34 years.
Okay, 34,
now,
yeah.
Which is crazy,
See, that's what I was originally thinking. I was looking everything up and just like catching up and on research and shit. And I kept seeing 30. I'm like, I swear it was more than that. Okay,
30.
But then again, at the same time, I also know that that the birth of you guys was in 89, 88.
Yeah, 89. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and I didn't even fucking do the math. I didn't even bother to do the math. I just went by the numbers I saw. And I fucking know that. Well, you guys came out when I was like 9 years old.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I know it's crazy. I mean, I think after 20 years, you kind of don't think about it anymore. It's like, even with like our 25th year, we did like a little release for 25th year. And it was like, I didn't even really think about it. If Kyle didn't bring it up to us, I would not even have thought about doing anything for a 25th year, just because I'm not sitting around thinking like, wow, I did this for a long time. You just live in life. You're just doing what you do. You don't really think of like, holy crap, there's like this long, long history of stuff that we did, even though I appreciate and think about all that stuff a little bit, but I don't think about it in a way like it's 30 years of time. It's just the stuff I did or we did as a band.
You guys are aging gracefully, I gotta say.
I feel very lucky.
Heroin.
yeah, all the crack we did preserved us pretty good,
You know what? And then shit was probably safer than too. Fucking back in the 80s and 90s, shit was a lot safer than what's out there today. Yeah. It's like I go in the hospital, I don't even want to touch their shit. It's like I don't know.
I mean, these days you can't smoke crack or do coke or heroin or anything like that. PCP, it's not safe anymore. Back in my day, you could do it and you knew what you were getting. These days, it's like all fentanyl or something. So yeah, it's not a good idea
the new drug.
And then people willingly taking Molly, and that's like 20 fucking drugs all smashing in one pretty little pill.
It's a little bit crazy these days, in my opinion. I mean, I honestly, I was never really a junkie, but I was around it a lot, obviously, from being a metalhead, and
You're
it's
a
just like
partier. Yeah.
it's sad to see how things are with this. I mean, how a lot of people that have passed away from doing drugs laced with fentanyl and stuff like that. It's really, really sad,
Yeah.
Even not even just like super hardcore drugs, but even like more minor drugs, they would, it was like laced.
Drugs are cool.
Yes, it's exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
This is public service announcement. We are not encouraging drug use, but we're not necessarily discerning it without you doing your own research and knowing what the risks are.
Exactly.
Yeah. No. Drugs are definitely not a good thing. It actually
it's crazy.
Actually caused a lot of problems with our band back in the day because addiction and stuff like that really screwed a lot of stuff up with certain members here and there. So it's definitely it never really ends up. It starts off fun for people and it just goes down a hole, which really sucks. Yes.
It never ends well.
The addiction, that's a lot of people can't separate the difference between party and addiction.
Well, that's the thing.
It's like you're in control when you're partying, but they don't see and notice the difference when the addiction takes over. And I've got that issue with two friends of mine right now, and it's killing me.
Yeah,
it's killing me. It's got me to the point where I don't even want to be around them because they're putting me in situations where it's like, dude, I want to help you, but not when it's putting my life at risk now, And it sucks because it's like you want to help, but you can only do so much. You know?
It's a very difficult thing to deal with because you want to help, but you can't do nothing unless they're ready to help themselves. And unfortunately, I've had to see some people turn their life around. I mean, our drummer Kyle did that back in the early 2000s. He turned his life around, but I've had a lot of friends that didn't turn their life around and end up dying from it, either dying from the drugs or dying from the withdrawal of the drugs. So
if it's not really that, it's the alcohol from the liver failure and the kidney failures, and they're getting taken out younger with that. It's
fucked. It's really sad.
It is
to deal with, but it's one of the things that I've learned with being, in the scene for so long. I guess being alive for so long, you start to realize that life is, really precious and a gift. The time you get to spend with people, and you shouldn't take that stuff for granted. Even though I do sometimes, like everybody else, I try to kick myself in the butt, and you never know because so many times where just somebody all of a sudden just passes out of nowhere and you're thinking like, fuck, he just called me up a couple days ago and I couldn't hang out or something. And now you're never going to see him, or maybe it would have changed.
And then you like brainwash yourself to think that you're an ass. It's like, I could have been there that night. He called me and I said no and blah, blah, blah. And I could, you beat yourself up when shit like that happens and it sucks.
More times than I can count.
Mm-hmm. That sucks. And wait, this took a very morbid twist from you guys looking pretty and holding up your skin.
So, how's everybody else doing?
Yes. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta get some crack real quick. I'll be right back.
So anyway, back to aging gracefully. All right?
Thank you.
So you guys just did the Nihility in what was it, summer of last year in Europe and UK, correct?
Yes.
Well, we did. We did the tour with Decapitated in February or March last year. Then we did a couple, just a small amount of U.S. dates around the Milwaukee Metal Fest, and then we did a European run in like end of July, August, and then what do we do after that? Oh, we just did the Metal Threat and Fest, and I can't remember what else, but basically we've been pretty busy. I mean, with a Chuck could comment on the summer tour because Chuck doesn't always get to tour with us because of his work schedule and stuff. But it was really nice to be able to do like a proper European, run with Chuck on bass, because it's, even though we have a lot of great people helping us out on bass when he's not there, it's nothing like having family there with you out on the road, someone you've worked with for how many years it's been? We're going on like 18, 20 years.
Yeah, it's getting close to that. Yeah, I want to say like 17, 18 now at this point. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I know it's hard to believe. We're just talking about how the speed of time, but that tour in and of itself was the longest tour because of my work scheduling that I've done in about 24 years, 24 years. The last one I did was in about 2001 with a previous band before I even joined Incan, and that was the last time that I had, over a month of time out to do something like that. And that first experience was enough to well, it was probably the worst tour experience, I should say.
Bring it on. I want to hear some
Yeah. Here we go with the juicy
I want to know when shit went left.
it was pretty tragic. Where this one
sucks.
was one of the bucket lists that recalled to childhood. Like when I was a kid, there was like a couple of fests that I would read about in magazines, and you would go to a supermarket or something and see it on a magazine rack, and then you look through the bands that are on the flyer, and you couldn't be more excited, like, oh man, I wish I could go there one day, but not go there, but then play it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I couldn't have been more fortunate to be able to share that experience with the band that like family. Here we were, and actually after the advent of the band from 89, 34 years, and that was the band's first opportunity as well. And to coincide with my own childhood memories along with the band's experience, and then to be there on that very stage and amongst and around some of the best people, I wouldn't trade that for nothing. So that was a true bucket list.
You're talking about the Vakken show, right?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
And the other surrounding dates that were, encompass the rest of the 5 weeks, whether it be within traveling from gas station to gas station, or going from, festivals that we had done back in maybe like 2011 through 13, and then seeing them, how they've progressed, and then still being able to hit that stage and seeing the development of that's a whole new experience too. It's fantastic. It was really something else. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that summer tour. Yeah, of course, doing Vakken was really cool, a bucket list kind of thing. But I still think my favorite one of that tour was probably Brutal Assault. And we've known the Thomas, who started Brutal Assault. I've known him for quite a while. He used to be a pen pal of mine back in the day, so there's always been some sort of respect. We played a lot over the years, but it's so nice to see somebody that you were pen pals with from back in the day doing so successful, being so successful, have such a good operation going, and on top of that, the show was just fantastic. I mean,
you're in an ancient fortress in the Czech Republic.
Dude, that's gotta be cool as fuck.
How fucking sick is that?
I'm just saying,
metal, dude. That is a great fest. Yeah, that's a great anecdote.
That's got to take you to a whole different level of euphoria when you're on that stage and you know what stage you're on and where you're at. The anxiety, like the anxiety is like a beautiful side of anxiety. You're so anxious and you anticipated something that's so beautiful and where you're at, and it's just like, dude, the history that you are sitting and standing on and jamming the fuck out. I mean, I can't imagine that feeling. It's got to be intense.
Yeah, and the crowd for a Brutal Assault especially is like right in our wheel well as far as the kind of crowd, because Vakken of course is great, but you're playing to such a wide variety of different metal people, and it's great to play for all of them, and to show your music off to people. But the thing that made Brutal Assault special for me was just that the people there knew our stuff, and they were like there, to watch us play kind of thing, which made it on top of everything else even more enjoyable, because it's just so much fun when, the crowd from first note is with you, and not just, you don't even have to like wait to break them in for a little bit,
Yeah.
Maybe I hyped that up in the wrong direction. That like
No, both
you
were
could-
great.
but you're absolutely positively right. I guess I was speaking more from a personal standpoint because even
Mhm.
Partisan, for that matter, Partisan is also like that too.
Yes.
Where that experience was, on par as well with the way the brutal assault was, to where you have like truly genuine diehards that are out there,
Yeah.
and it does make a world
Where they actually know your music and not just the chorus.
Yeah.
The minute you hit that first chord, they go nuts. They already know what the fuck is coming.
And do you have any fans that left an impact on you?
Fans?
Yeah, any fans?
Many.
Yeah.
Like
as an impact, as one of them that left that impact on you.
I met a guy in Leon, Mexico, and he came up to me with a beer in order to offer it to me with a brand new leather jacket, and had traveled 12 hours from Chihuahua. That kind of dedication is something that you can't force upon people. They do that on their own accord.
Yeah.
When we were in
maybe this is a Chicago side of me, but if somebody was regardless of if I was at some famous stature, if somebody was handing me a leather jacket, I'd be worried to touch it, and I'd start becoming a private detective. What was it used in? How do I know you? Where are you from? Are you hiding evidence? I mean, you put. Maybe that's a Chicago.
I'm sorry if I said it that way, but he was wearing the leather, but you could.
Oh, that's good.
Which meant like he wanted to make the best out of that experience that he could possible. So
that's
he
cool
bought that new jacket. He wasn't offering me the coat. But the other folk was in Pomerode, Brazil, and he traveled 15. So when you see these folks that have devoted their time and effort, and sometimes even down to the very last penny, like the guy from Chihuahua, like I know he wanted to make that very best impression, but the thing is that he impressed it upon me, and I won't forget it, because that's huge.
That's
I mean,
John, you probably set the tone for like the rest of his life, Yeah. And not only you, he made it a beautiful impression on you. But you both are taking that with you for life now.
It's
awesome.
It's a reciprocated thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think that for whatever he's received out of our performance, I received out of his dedication.
Yes. Right. And
John, I mean, there's a lot of people like that we, I meet people all the time that are really, diehard fans. They want to come and talk, because we're very available, not like other bands where they kind of like to hang out backstage. Like when I'm at a metal show, if we're playing it or not, especially after we play, I'm like totally down with hanging out, and just I usually hang up at a merch table and just want to thank people for the show, for coming out for the show or supporting us. It's just part of my normal like metal way of being. Cause I really do love the whole lifestyle of being a metalhead and stuff. So, I mean, there's so many people that I've met that, have something either going on in their lives or whatnot. And it's just, nice to be able to talk to them sometimes. And especially if it's, every once in a while, you just connect a little more with somebody. Like one thing that I thought was really, I don't know, it really meant a lot to me was when we played Dubai on our way to Australia last year. We did like a stopover show there, and there was a female musician. She was, I don't remember her name, but she came out to the show. She was telling me she was a guitar player in the band. I think it was guitar player, bass. I can't remember. That part wasn't important, but she was from I think, if I remember correctly, it was Bahrain or someplace else in the Middle East, like that. A more like liberal country in the Middle East, but still a lot of just the natural chauvinism they have in a lot of places there. To be frank about it. And anyway, we were just talking, and she was just telling me, how hard it is for her to find a band to play with or to work with people, because she's like the only chick here that plays, metal, really, and so they all look down on her, don't think she could do it because she's a chick or whatever, and I thought about it, and those kind of struggles just, touch me, because, we all deal with that as people and as musicians. And at one time in our life, we have people all telling us like, you can't do this or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just remember having a talk with her, trying to let her know that, unfortunately, these struggles are part of life that you have to deal with. But if you really love what you're doing, you got to just, move forward with it. And even sometimes bite the bullet in the situation so you can get to the place where you need to be, where you want to be as a musician or anything in life or whatever, So that one really, it kind of touched me. But there's stories like that are not just like that, but other stories of people's, struggles in life, or people that might have health problems, or just diehard fans that appreciate or understand some of the stuff that maybe they heard us go through or whatever. I mean, there's so many nice people in the metal underground that I meet, and I think we all meet in a band just from making ourselves available. And of course, some people are idiots too, but most people are cool, I mean, that go to the shows, because a lot of us metalheads, we all kind of deal with a lot of the same struggles in life, doing something that's, being a metalhead, being an outcast as a metalhead. I mean, I think it's a lot less now than it was before. And say my generation, and maybe a few generations after, it was a lot more stigmatizing to be a metalhead. But still, even now, people are still have struggles, and there's there's still discriminations against people that are metalheads, just because they don't fit in with the quote unquote cookie cutter world you're supposed to,
right?
Because we're, metalheads, we're rebels,
Yeah. And a lot of the old school metalheads that have been around 30, 40 years are still stuck in the same thinking mind frame of what it was back in, I'm gonna say it, last century, 80s and 90s, and then you got the younger kids that are coming in with a completely different mind frame on a whole different level of things. Metal has gone 30 different directions now. Before it was this, there was just set. It was like, it was metal, there was country, there was hip hop, and now you got like 30 generations or genres of every kind of fucking song music that's out there, and everyone is just judging each other left and right. And it's like, dude, when it all comes down to it, we all started falling for this shit. And it started in the 70s and 80s where the Godfathers came in, and you guys are part of the Godfathers, and it's a lot of it is still the same, but the stigmatisms will always remain because people just won't let it go. They're just, I don't know. I call it narrow-minded and ignorant. That's my personal opinion. But there's still a lot of sexism. And it's just,
Well, I was gonna say, when I was younger, they're probably similar to Chuck too. It's like, being a metalhead was super outcast. I mean, of course, it's an outcast that we chose, but it's like stuff that we truly believe in and love. And you get, I don't know, pulled over, for being a metalhead sometimes.
Right? You have that look, and you look like trouble to somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that, or even just kids in school would, like the jocks or something would give you crap, or whoever. It just we've all dealt through that stuff. It's a little, I'm not trying to devalue the situation now, but it was way more brutal back then, I think, with how people were treated.
The thing is that we didn't talk. They just broke your face.
Yes.
Nowadays we go, oh, they didn't talk. They didn't want to yell at you.
Yeah, now we're supposed to care about your feelings. We can hurt your feelings, but we can't.
You. It was called, I'm going to get you. And they ran you down and they beat your ass. That was a very different world. We don't live in that anymore.
No.
With social media now these days, more people talk a good game, but back in the day, you had to reap the consequences of the good game, either being on the receiving end. I mean, sometimes you wouldn't even know what you really did. You didn't do anything. You just were being a metalhead.
I don't remember any
Or
like
dressing
there
all in black.
the
Like,
moments where if you reached a certain area of blocks, the second you crossed that street and you heard somebody go, "Yo," you ran. You don't answer them. You run. Because
Yes.
if you don't run, you're going to end up in a hospital.
oh.
Yeah, I was one of
Just
those
the
asses.
reality.
Well, for me, it was the early '90s. I was one of those asses that if someone said, "Yo, what?" I would
Good
just
luck.
stare at them. They look at me and be like, a lot of people say they look at my face. They're like, "You look like you're gonna slit someone's throat. Want to find out?" you know. But then of course, if they're by themselves, then they don't want to do nothing. But if they got 2-3 people standing behind them, now they're the badasses and they're ready to jump your ass. And I'm still gonna step up. All right, I'm here, motherfucker. Let's go.
So in a strange way, I have to admit, like without that opposition, it makes our conviction to what we like lessen.
I was trouble though. I was always looking
and in some ways, for them to hunt you down and beat your face in,
they didn't need a reason, like you said. They didn't.
But it gave you more conviction to go, I'm against that.
Yeah.
Now we don't have that. We don't have anything to go against. Everything nowadays is we're all cool.
Yeah. It's more accepted now, a hell of a lot more accepted. You know, the different looks, the different personalities.
And that acceptance.
But back then it was like, hey, freak. That's how.
Oh yeah, they were so judgmental. So judgmental.
High school. Back in the
because I was judgmental of them as well.
Yeah.
Because guess what? I don't like your Umbro shorts.
You know what? I used to run around in high school saying PK motherfucker. I used to say PK motherfucker in high school. I hated preppies. I despised
that was God. It's like I don't
jocks.
Like sports, I don't like soccer, and I don't like you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was metalheads against the metalheads, and I'm like, what the hell?
That too.
Yeah.
That's because you're a poser. That's what they're saying.
Yes.
Everyone's a fucking poser now.
That was like
let them talk. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about half the time. That's all they want to do is, you're a poser. You're a poser. Ow.
Yeah.
You're a poser. Like
because you don't live up to their stigmatism of a stigma of what you should look like, how you're supposed to act, come out of your mouth, how you should dress, what size you should be. Fuck yourself. How about that? You know.
Get them.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back though. Getting back on track though. So you guys bounced around in 24 and did some cool shit, and then did a couple of single one-offs, and now you're coming back. We're in 25, and we're bringing Nihility to the States and Canada.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a fun tour. We toured with them earlier last year in Europe. We had a good time, and this time, I'm sure it'll be just as fun. And we're super pumped because we're getting to play some places that we haven't played since before the pandemic. So it's nice to get out to play some, some places like in Western Canada. We're playing a bunch of shows, which
you guys are literally going coast to coast and just straight up north.
Yeah, so it'll be a blast for sure. And we're doing a special Mortal Throne Nazarene set for the show So it'll be something special for people that who either are old school fucks, or they're maybe newer kids that never seen us play a bunch of our old school stuff. So it's nice. It'll be nice to be able to revisit some of that stuff. I'm the kind of person I really like. I'm cool. I like, of course, pushing new stuff, but I also really enjoy playing the old stuff too. It's all fun to play. It's all songs that we worked hard on and mean a lot to us. So it's whatever we do, newer stuff, older stuff, whatever, it's all good to us.
Right.
It'll be a great experience for myself because when I first joined the band, we were doing Golgotha related material into Mortal Throne, which is the things that I actually grew up on and was a fan of long before being a member. And now to be able to play Mortal Throne will be, that'll be really paramount. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, we had done a number of Golgotha related shows, and even when Decibel had done the, Hall of Fame
Hall of Fame
shows.
thing,
Yeah, that was some time ago as well.
Yeah, it was 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
Right. And now this tour though, you guys are playing the Mortal Throne.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna be jamming that shit out. Hell yeah.
So it should be fun. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Right? Yeah, so I have not been able to see you guys. So I'm really you guys are gonna be rolling through my I wouldn't say my area, it's not Chicago, but close enough. Juliet,
yes.
Yes,
Forge,
you are gonna be at the Forge, and you guys are coming here February 15th.
Yes.
I already got it. Yep.
Yeah.
So definitely I'm looking forward to finally fucking hearing you guys and seeing you guys play. And maybe you guys will recognize, that face, be like, I know that face. I know that voice. Everyone always says, I know that voice.
Yeah, the Fran.
It's my Franly voice.
Cool.
One way or another, I stand out. But so that's going to be really fucking cool to hear that. That's one of your fucking classics, obviously from back in the day, and it's definitely a jam. So I'm looking forward to hearing some old school shit from you guys. Not just some of the current, but you guys kicking it back with that album. I'm like, dude, this is gonna be great. So you're gonna see me either limping around because I have a busted ass knee. I'm gonna be headbanging and pissing somebody off with my fucking hair, whipping them in the face, or you're gonna you see my camera up the whole time. It's one of the three. And then me pulling out my hidden shots of liquor. The metal detectors don't detect aluminum. You never heard that from me. But we actually have one of the videos from that album that I would love to play. I have Concordant, if I may play that with your permission.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so let's get this baby going. That is a
Whoa.
fucking jam.
You
Love
know,
it.
I haven't seen that since the coin sent it to us, John. And I'll tell you, they really fucking knocked it out of the park, man. They did a good job.
Yeah, they did good. It's
Sick.
it's cool.
No, that looks badass. But you know what, John, I gotta say, man. I mean, I was just, I kept thinking of every time I looked up.
What's that?
Beautiful. And then I see you here, and you look like a gentle like polar bear.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get all my meanness out playing live, or
I get that, yeah.
so
Yeah.
I have no, afterwards I'm too happy because all anger got out of me,
Yeah, the rest is all Coca-Cola commercials.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Right? Yes, the original Coca-Cola. Let's talk about that.
There is no other.
Right? Oh yeah. So, John, you write your music, right?
I write some of it. I mean, we all write music in the band, but
Right.
I've been kind of the constant, yeah.
So, what puts you in your musical mood? What is your muse? What triggers you?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, a lot of it is really just self-expression, or something will um, inspire me. Sometimes it's not always necessarily like other music or something, but sometimes like you just hear something and it just inspires you, but it doesn't inspire you to do the same exact thing, but it just like triggers something inside my head where it gives me that inspiration to want to create something. Because creating music for me, it's very personal. It's not really it's not like I'm not thinking about like, okay, let's, write this good catchy song or do it like this or that. It's like more like the self-expressions. And at the end of the day, I just want whatever we do to be able to be the expression for myself and for everybody else in the band. It's like more of a statement, we'll say, than it is an actual thing. It's like, I guess since I started writing, the best way to explain it's like the feeling that I get from the music is more important than the actual music and the notes and what we're actually playing. It's like you want to be able to listen to it and feel what we're feeling as a band, to come out. It's like more of an emotional connection to the music than it is I don't know, a musical connection or something like that. It's like a vehicle, for me, it's a vehicle. I mean, I can't speak for everybody because everybody has their own reasons and ways of writing and stuff. For me, it's very emotional, and it might sound cheesy, but it's like a passionate thing for me. I do it for the love of doing it, and I just hope that when I do it, that it has a good reason to exist as far as a riff or a song or whatever. I mean, I don't know how would you describe your Chuck, how you write, Chuck? Because I guess I never really asked you that before.
What's your muse? What triggers you?
It's odd because there's like a lot of different influences in my life, but I find that when it comes to actually writing music, it's still a mystery to myself. Where did it come from? It could even be mind silence. I know that sounds odd, but like you're just sitting and you'll hear it. And when
you're talking about maybe like when you get lost in your head and you just kind of lose yourself?
It can be, but it could also be in a situation of being like rather busy, and all of a sudden you hear something and go, "Oh, well, that is the riff," and you develop upon that. For my own part, it comes not under force. It has to be fluid. It has to be homogenous. Like when we get together, we work as a unit, and I find that if I can have enough of those moments, that culmination will then be a contribution, and then that could either be scrapped, developed upon, edited, whatever. Because we work as a team. So to say like one discerning feature that creates that, I don't even know what it is myself. I have
I
no idea.
mean, I know sometimes, I mean, say if it's like we're at a practice situation or somebody sends some stuff, sometimes I just hear something and it just sparks inspiration because it's, I hate using this word, but it's kind there's kind of like a synergy at practice that works,
Hmm.
and you just kind of, or even just writing music, like like I said, just say Chuck and I are together, we're writing something. He'll just write something and he'll just inspire something in me and just kind of go like the energy goes back and forth. I know it sounds like artsy and stuff, but there's some kind of energy that comes with the writing of music that gets like transferred between the people that are doing
Absolutely.
it, and it inspires you to want to do it. But I don't really know what it is. You just know when it's there because there's just times where you just right, like we'll be at practice and somebody will come up with a cool riff or something, and then all of a sudden I'll take a few seconds, my brain will be like and it'll just be
Right.
like thinking like that means something. What does it mean? Try to find out what that feeling means. But it's not just the feeling, it's trying to express that feeling through notes and not
Mhm.
expressing it through words or through actions. So it's kind of an interesting thing that I've didn't know what it was when I was younger, but the older I get, the more I kind of develop that sense of just it's just you just know when something is right and when something's wrong musically. It just makes sense. It's
Hmm.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right.
it couldn't have been said better because, like, there are many a times where when you hear something in your own head in one particular fashion, you're not hearing it through the mind and ears of the person that's next to you. And when we all come from the same influences, the same kind of inspirations, that when we finally meet, it turns into something greater than the sum of its parts. I
Yeah.
know I've repeated
Hmm.
myself for that as many times as I can count as well,
but it's true
but
though.
it is the truth. And I find that with what we've done. I mean, all this time, you might come up with something or my contribution or vice versa, and it's I'm going to use your word. It's the synergy of it. Because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Simply put, when it does, it works great.
Well, the things that sometimes there's things that don't work. A lot of it is just because if sometimes inspiration just doesn't go anywhere. Like it still could be a personal statement, but not all personal
Yeah.
statements need to be a freaking song. Like
No.
like a lot of times I'll be at practice. Chuck will know this. I'll just be like, I know it's fucked. I know it probably sucks, the idea, but let me just get this idea out of my head
Hmm.
so I could move on. Like I almost want to prove myself that it's not good. Like bring it to court of metal, and be like, is this going to work
Sure.
or not? And then once I know it doesn't work, it frees up my mental space of writing for to do other things. And sometimes, surprisingly, it does work. Or sometimes I don't think it's good, but I still want to present it because maybe somebody else sees something in it that I don't see because I know that I sometimes see things in other people's music,
Right.
and I think, oh, I could work with that, or that's really cool. It just needs to maybe be in the right context. But it's weird because it's almost to me, it's like an extra sense or something. It's like it's almost like I know it sounds cheesy, but it's an ESP between the whole band, or
Yeah.
that's a musical thing, but
I get that.
it's not like a real it's not
A co-
something that you could really grab onto. It's like it's
it's a
almost like the
connection.
vibe. It's a vibe there, and that's it, and you just go with it. And sometimes the vibe, lasts for a while. Sometimes it doesn't, and it's the way it goes.
And you guys are feeding off each other's energy, and
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's the same with a live performance.
right.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Same thing.
live. I know. I'm sorry to interrupt, Chuck, but I know live for me. I I I know it sounds cheesy or whatever, but I truly get like transported to a different mental space, and am not. I'm not the same person that I was before I got on stage. Like I'm feeding off the energy in the crowd. I'm
Yeah.
feeding off the energy
Hmm.
of the band playing, and it's really difficult sometimes for me to think about anything else live. Like, I mean, sometimes you do, but a lot of times you're just so caught up in the moment and you're just kind of like almost enjoying the ride. It's like you're on a roller coaster or something. You're just enjoying the ride, and you know, and then it's kind of like you start off here, and then the end of the end of the show. Okay, you know, we get off. Whew, that was something, you know, and it doesn't even. And of course, it's great when the crowd's really awesome, but sometimes the crowd isn't always so receptive. But there's another energy that comes in too, of like you want to you know, prove yourself, or you want to make a statement with it, because it's not just like playing out live. It's not just about satisfying the hunger of the people there or to be liked. It's like to show people that this is inside of us and this means something. And it's like you like it or you don't like it, but as far as we're concerned, this is us, and you can fuck off if you don't like it.
Exactly.
You know,
we do what we do for our benefit, individually and collectively. If it was to be at the whim and fancy of the crowd, we would be changing our stuff constantly, and then of course we wouldn't necessarily be a band anymore, would we?
Right.
We would be catering to whatever somebody wants to do at the flavor of the week.
Yeah, we grew up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's it.
No, we grew up with a very rebellious attitude. I mean, you know, it's just like, this is us. This is what we do, and if you don't like it, fuck off. And it's not a problem. I mean, I'm not like you have to like it, but it's like, and we don't expect everybody to like it, because we know we're playing death metal, and we know we're playing raw music, but it's for those people that can relate to those feelings that we have in the music. It's not really meant for super casual. So for somebody that's like going through something, or somebody that really relates to just the darker side of life and stuff like that, or, you know, I mean, it's all expression, you know, it's all of us just expressing it. And it's like, is expression right or wrong? I don't know if it's right or wrong.
We were mentioning earlier about the devoutness of our fan base and stuff like that, and the different people that come into play with these things. You know, like we all are drawn to this for the whatever independent reasons that we might have. We've all come to the same spot. You know, you could say that it was one trial, tribulation, or whatever the case may be, and then you can make an excuse for why you've done it. By being on the other side, we don't need an excuse. We know exactly what we're performing, exactly what we're playing, and why we're doing so. And it has nothing to do with them. Now, is it say that we exclude them? Obviously not, because we value it. Because if you can reciprocate that, it's the very reason why we did it in the first place. So first and foremost is ourselves. And then when it comes out from those, you know, people, places, patrons, whatever they may be, that like it, we appreciate that as much as what we did in creating it.
Well, it's a great feeling to know that you could play stuff that is very passionate to yourself and means something, even when you don't know what it means to you. It just means something that's important, and they relate to it, and however they relate to it, because if people don't relate to it the same way as, you know,
it's individualistic.
Yeah, it's a matter of interpretation to the individual.
Yeah, but the fact is that if you're able to do something that's honest to yourself, and other people are able to connect to it in one way or another, regardless of how, it's a great feeling to know that you know, your music's meant something to somebody, because it was never really, I never would have thought that, as especially a inspiring musician, to actually do something that, you know, means a lot to somebody. It's a wonderful feeling, you know.
It's actually, yeah, I mean, it's
mind blowing.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. You like this? Yeah.
Really? That's how it started off from day one. It was like, you know, we first started doing it. It was just like, we purposely want to do stuff that people wouldn't like. And fortunately, I guess we were wrong, because people ended up liking it. But it was just like, really, people actually like this stuff, because
there's more of us out there than we realize.
Yes, but at the time, we just thought that we were just pushing. We were just expressing ourselves, and, you know, being the asshole selves we were. You know,
still am proud.
I
I said
agree.
I smile a lot more now than I did 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I smile a lot more now. Owning that shit, right?
Yep.
So okay, let's talk about that. You mentioned earlier that how you guys feed off each other for your vibes and your energies to create the songs that you create, and that when you're on stage, you feed off the vibes, of course, of the fans and everyone there and the environment you're in. What do you do when the environment and the fans don't show much energy and they just don't feel like it? It just looks like it's just kind of dead air while you're
Doesn't
playing.
matter.
Is there anything you do to get the crowd pumping? Is that when you guys, is that when you start chucking shit at people? You run off stage? I watch out for flying sticks, man. I've been hit in the head before. And I go home with picks in my fucking shirt all the time. That shit, my friends slow down me. What do you guys do when the crowd seems like it needs a little kick in the ass?
So I have a perfect example for this because both John and I remember this show. Do you remember the show of 7 people, John? Germany.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes.
It did not change our approach to the show, how we performed, or how we would associate with the very 7 people that were in the crowd.
So you weren't kidding. I mean, that wasn't just an elaboration. That was legit.
No. I counted them. There were 7.
7 people.
And that didn't count the lights and guy sound. The light, the sound and lights guy, right? Yeah. Holy shit.
Point being is that we did not shorten our set. We did not make any accommodations of the fact that there was nobody there. Right. It didn't matter. The ones that were the important ones. And it felt to our own self that we would perform in the entirety that we would if it was 7,000. The thing is that 2 of those folks, our previous guitarist, Alex Books, who plays for Immolation now,
right?
He actually ran into those 2 folks on the road, and he contacted shortly after to both John and I believe. I think Alex told you about this, right, dude? Yeah. That he ran into those very 2 people, and they still have not forgotten it. So now I'm recalling again to the first things we spoke about is that when you find that one specific person that when they're traveling 12 or 15 hours and it makes an impression upon themselves, that those 7 people, those 2 out of the 7 still make that impression upon us as well. And it wasn't due to the fact that we altered, changed, or bolstered more, I don't know, rage out of them. Did we spit on them? Did we shit on the stage like Gigi Allen? No, obviously not. But it's that we just carried forth the way we normally would, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
No, the bottom line is it does. There's when you're touring, there's one day you could be playing an amazing packed house show, another day it could be a show like that or whatever. You just never know what you're going to get. With that, because there's just a million circumstances, but you can't it's not right to cherry pick when you're going to give everybody your all. If someone pays money to see you, they deserve to get the best show possible. I mean,
yes.
On another note, I mean, we did the European tour with Wolves in the Throne Room. It was right after the pandemic, and we were like a last minute addition to that tour, so we really didn't get a lot of promotion for that tour. So we were playing to pretty decent sized packed rooms of a bunch of people that didn't even know who the hell we were or whatever. Like it was just a totally different crowd. And some nights it went over great, and other nights it went over like a lead pipe or something like that. But it didn't matter. Like every single night, it wasn't about how good of a response we had. It was just like, we're going to make sure that they see us at our best, even if they're not into us. Or maybe, you plant that seed and maybe like a year or 2 later, they realize like, oh, I get it finally, what's up. Because I remember even as a kid, it was more when I listened to albums back then. Sometimes you listen to it the first time and you don't get it. But I never heard this band before, so I don't get it. But then, a month of trying giving it a few chances to listen to or something, they end up becoming some of my favorite bands that I ever like. So it's always important to just the self-respect of giving people that are at the, that you're in front of to perform, regardless of what the situation is. They deserve your best. Even if they don't like you, you deserve to play your best for yourself and your own integrity. Luckily, we don't have to deal with that too much, but you do. I mean, every band deals with it. They just don't like to talk about it. No one likes to talk about the hard shows that they played. Everybody is super pumped when they get to play as fast, and there's 20,000 people there raging for them, but they don't tell you about the small club shows that are that are a lot more difficult to to have a good attendance on when you're competing against all these other festivals and shows going on at that time,
Sure. And
So-
then,
Go ahead.
regardless of the circumstances, whether it be the big festival or the small club show, we appreciate everybody that shows up regardless.
Mhm.
And that wouldn't change the way that we approach our show either. So
Yep.
Very
I'm
good.
repeating myself.
No, you're not. But it's a good.
No,
It's important.
it's totally cool. I mean, it's a matter of individual person. Your responses are individualized towards yourself. So I totally respect that. But I get it. So the size of the crowd should impact the way you play. You should bring it no matter what, and not feed off the negativity or the emptiness, and just feed off yourselves and the stage. I mean,
of course, it's nice. There's no doubting that if the crowd's really into it, you feed off it. Yes, of course you do.
Right.
But if we'll use an example of a small crowd with 7 people, you could still know that these people really enjoyed it, and plus we enjoy playing with each other on stage, so it's enjoyable for us. Even if nobody showed up, it would still be fun for us to jam together. So it's
you guys call it a paid practice at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
But I mean, even putting a moniker to it, the only reason I recall it so very much is that, there was a good solution to that. You know what I mean? Like, those 2 guys will never forget it. And the fact that they bring it up all these years later is something to be noteworthy. That's all.
And I've toured with bands or been around bands that, are like, oh, the crowd's not so good tonight or whatever, and they're going to cut their set short or whatever, And I mean, it's not for me to say what they do as their band, but I hear that stuff and I'm just like, no, fuck that. It's like, it doesn't matter. These people paid to come see you play. They deserve to get the same show. It wasn't like we're going to, determine how much we play depending on how big the crowd is or how good the response is. No, if somebody pays their whatever $20 or $25 to get in, if there's 100 people or 10 people, they still paid to see you play. You should respect that. I mean, I've been to other band shows where it's been pretty not packed either, and I expect for them to play good. I went to see them. I don't care that there's not a lot of people at a certain show I go to. I want to see the band play the best they play because I like the band.
I couldn't agree more. What was it? A very near and dear band to both of us. So Manowar used to sell out stadiums, thousands and thousands of people. I saw them at the Tobacco Roadhouse in Pittsburgh for about maybe 35, 50 people, 40, yeah, 35, 40 people. Nobody cared. Half of them disinterested, whatever. But if they shortened their set, God, I would have been fucking pissed.
Right.
Because I wanted to see that. Yes. And, the fact that I can give that back, that, no, I'm not going to cut it. I'm not going to cut it short for you. Like, you're going to get everything that we can give to you. Like, it means something.
Yes.
It's important.
And also there's a thing too, is when you see like a sea of people, they're like a sea of people. When you see a smaller crowd at a show, you see one of them, you're like able to like connect directly to them and see them. And you could feel almost the passion that they have, or it's
even the teenager that doesn't know what to do and is so confused by it, and like it just and like so excited about all the excitement that's going on around them, and then you just single him out. And I'm like, I was you.
Yeah.
panic.
Because
They're just,
and that's
and
the
they get all
connection.
excited and they're raging, and
yeah.
that's the joy of it all.
It's true. I mean, I do see myself in the crowd when playing. It's like I was that kid going to shows that was either in the pit or in the front row headbanging or just fit the fist in the air, whatever it was. I was that kid when I was younger, and I still am that kid if I, see some of those bands from back in the day. But, when I remember playing in Adelaide, Australia, a couple of years back, and there was these kids, like young kids in the front row. They must have been like 16 years old or something like that, with their leather and denim jackets on, just like I used to have in the front row, headbanging the whole time. It touched me. It was a really nice thing to see it go full circle, from my youth to being able to play now to kids that are like I was,
Right.
The thing.
More. Yeah. It's cool.
And that's a beautiful thing. It becomes more personalized. I mean, I can see what you're saying completely. Even though it might end up with 20, 30 people or whatever like that. It becomes like a private show for them. And it becomes more personal because a lot of fans, and I'm sure everyone has thought they always want to be seen, like you were saying, and then the musician can actually point out the one that's drawing their attention. They know that all 20 they see every single one of us, so everything we do, they're gonna see it. So I'll be that asshole. I'll throw something at someone and be like, "Do you see that shit?" But I'll keep you guys entertained from the ground. But it makes it more personal, and I think it would it increases the individual's experience as a fan.
Well, I was just thinking, it's like, I mean, I've been doing this. I've been playing in bands now since, probably my first live show was probably 86 I played. So I've been playing live shows since then. And you see everything. We played in front of close to, I don't know, 50, 100,000 people at some festivals. We played shows where there's barely anybody there throughout our history. It's a long time. The trends are different. Things aren't always the same. There's not always the diehard people. There's always some diehards that come out, but sometimes, some years we've played tours where it's only been our really diehard fans. Other tours, death metal's more popular and the crowds are bigger. But like I said, I'm kind of repeating myself, but every show has to be top notch, or give it your all. You can't judge it on that. I played so many shows in the 80s where people were just looking at us like we're from fucking Mars, they didn't know what the hell's happening. But it was, I fed off that, because it was just like, hell yeah, I'm from fucking Mars and I'm gonna kick your fucking ass with some death fucking metal, motherfuckers,
Yeah.
Well said.
That's right. Own that alien.
Yes. Yes.
That is awesome.
The pioneer made a difference.
Yeah. Really.
Whether it be ups, downs, or whatever, as long as the band's been existing is how long I've been playing. So I would say 34 years of playing that I wouldn't trade it for nothing, because you never know what you're going to get next.
It's a blast.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
Data Grant says goats from Mars. No. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so in between, the fest, you guys have been kind of laying low, besides the couple one-offs popping up here and there, and you're going to be going on tour again, obviously, soon. Are you guys writing any more new music?
I think we always write stuff,
Yeah.
Any plans on releasing anything anytime soon?
Well, we don't know for sure yet. We're still early enough stages. It's a little early for us to say for sure when anything's going to happen, but we hope that it won't be too long. But really, we're going to start hunkering down on a lot of writing stuff once we get back from this tour that we're doing in March, and then after that we'll have a better idea of where we kind of stand and everything. Because even though the last couple of years have been really hectic, a lot of touring and stuff. So we don't really get a break until this year. Even though we don't get a total break this year, we're basically making out time to, get focused and see what happens. Musically, it just has to be organic and the proper way. I don't want to push it, rush it, or anything like that. I want to have it be a proper statement for all of us in the band.
Right. I get that. So you just let it happen as it does, and you just riding that wave.
Yep.
I mean, things are in the works. When? Yet to be determined.
In the future.
We're doing it.
It will happen.
We got this. Yeah.
It will happen. You want to know? You got to check up on the page and keep up with the guys. And they'll tell you everything you need to know.
There you go.
Yeah. Just keep bringing them in and be like, yeah, we got a new song coming. When? We'll let you know. You know?
Yes.
So you guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was a lot of fun meeting with you guys and talking to you guys about everything you've got, your past, some of your funny, goofy stories. That was fun.
Cool,
getting to know you a little bit better and talking about the tour, Nihility, taking over.
Hell yeah. Appreciate it.
Nihility worldwide at this point. Fuck yeah.
Thank you so very much for having us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys.
Do you have any advice for any future musicians who want to become death metal heads? Well, not just musicians who want to get into death metal and want to get shit going. Do you have any advice on what's the best route you think they should take, as opposed to what normally kids would be like? Nope, I'm going to go and do this. It's like, no, that's not the way you want to go.
Do it only if you are actually forthwith and passionate enough to carry through with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Know that you need to put everything in to make it happen.
Well,
simply put.
Yeah, well, I think, it's important to know and to find out if you want to do this seriously or as a pastime or something like that, because neither one's necessarily right or wrong, but usually the problems happen is when you have people that are more serious about it and other people that are a little more passive about it and stuff, and you need to find the right people to work with, and besides that, it's important to be true to yourself, and it's good to be inspired by people, but try not to over copy necessarily, because there's too many bands out now that really follow the same exact path. And it's like, for me as an artist, I think it's what I enjoy more bands that are more, say, original or more passionate about what they do than bands that are just following the trend necessarily. I mean, of course it's do what you like doing. If you like following the trends and do it, I guess that's great for you. But my opinion would be it's better to have self-expression in the music than just just be a crowd pleaser kind of band.
Right. There you go.
That's true.
That's awesome. Well, you guys, again, thank you. And for everybody, keep your eyes peeled for your cities. They are going coast to coast in March for the Nihility tour. And they are going to be fucking, man. They got on that, they got, what is it? Decapitated, Darkest Hour, and Ex Mortis.
Yes.
And
it'll be fun.
You guys are literally going coast to coast, going to Canada.
Yeah,
and it's starting very, very soon. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Hell yeah, we look forward to going to Canada. It's been a little while.
I do want to talk to you too, so don't go away just yet. All right.
Okay, cool.
Good luck, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, everyone else. See you at the show. Mad love and respect.
Oh yeah.
Eventually, I'm gonna hit the right thing here. I do this all the damn time. All right, bye guys.